I never use a travel agent. Do you want to know why? Hi, Michelle here from Travelling Over 60. Come join me on this adventure. Hi everybody, just popping in to let you know. Now this video, while I was away, lots of people asked me, do I use a travel agent? Well, I'm my own travel agent and I make use of the consultants that are with the APT company for this particular trip, and I make use of their consultants by booking my trip. So I thought this might make a good video for people that don't want to use a travel agent. So the first part of this video is all about how we choose where we're going and how I book using an APT consultant on the APT website. Now that's because this trip that I'm doing, Magnificent Europe, we booked through APT. So I thought it best just to show you how we do it. And then if you feel confident enough, you can do that yourself as well. Then after that, I'm going to show you my packing. Now, I don't show you packing every trip, but this one, I have new suitcases and I have some new packing cubes. So I thought I would show you how they all go both together. In saying that, if you don't want to watch the first part that's all about booking our trip, scrub through until you get to the section where I start with my packing cubes. And if you're new to my channel, right at the end of this video, I'm going to add in my introductory video so you can understand how I do my videoing. It's not like everybody else. I'm not going to show you and tell you all about the places I go. That's not what the video is about. You can discover that for yourself. So stay right to the very end and get to watch what my channel is all about. And for those of you who aren't new to my channel that have been following me all along, I just want to say thank you so very, very much. And let's get to and see how I booked Magnificent Europe and how I packed my suitcases. Let's go. Now, we've not long returned from Vietnam and Cambodia, and if you're planning that trip, don't go anywhere without going across and watching that playlist. And then we started thinking about where are we going next. And thanks to APT, they helped us along in choosing. We got this lovely letter from them stating that the APT club members are entitled to $100 per person off our next holiday. So of course, we went over to APT's website to check out where else we could go. Now this came up as soon as we clicked on APT. This ship looks amazing. So we clicked the destination button and we see Europe and then Europe River Cruises. Over on the right, Magnificent Europe. We view the tour and this is what came up. Now I start my research by clicking all these tabs across the top, getting as much information as I can. And on the right hand side there, I click the down arrow. You can do the trip the other way round, but I'm starting to think, is Budapest to Amsterdam enough? When we booked in 2025, we could book a trip called Magnificent Europe with Paris and Prague. I like the sound of that. Remember, I'm coming from Australia. It's a long way to travel to Europe. We've got to make the most of our time. But in 2026, it's a little bit more flexible. You still can get the same Magnificent Europe. That's the river cruise part of it. And you can still do that drop down where you choose whether you want to go Amsterdam to Budapest or Budapest to Amsterdam. Then if you want extensions, you go up the top, click extensions, and it will take you down to the extra bits you can add on to your trip. And you may not want to do both parts, Paris and Prague. Let's click on the Paris part and see what happens. Come up to the top, it says Paris to Budapest or Budapest to Paris. Now, is this all sounding a little bit complicated? Well, you can just go to the top of their screen and on the right-hand side there's a phone number. give them a call. And they were amazing. I had 1,000 questions and they answered them all. Okay, questions have answered, itinerary's been looked at, and I've studied the map. Now it's time to check out dates. Now it's up to you to decide what month is best for you to travel. Once you've decided, click the drop-down box here and choose the month, or go up the right-hand corner and choose View All Departures. Once you click on that, it'll take you across to this screen, and then you can still change your mind. Those arrows in the little blue circles, go back, they'll tell you sold out if it's sold out. But if you're really set on that date and it says sold out, there may be other ways. Try going the other way and see if you can get your chosen date. And if it's still sold out, make that phone call and chat with a consultant. They can always put you on a wait list. Okay, back to choosing your date. Check out what weather you want to travel in. Now, people told us August was way too hot, but it was fine for us. And then go backwards and forwards until you find a tour date that works for you. Let's just click on this one. Click on your chosen date, then the trip extensions. Scroll down to the bottom. Now, this gives you another opportunity to pick your post or pre-trip extensions. Now, if you don't want to choose any of that, just click that button at the bottom that says Skip Trip Extensions. Now it's time to choose what sort of a room you want. Pick out what sort of bedding you want, whether it's twin or double or single. Now the room choice, that's a very personal thing, but I can tell you with all our fellow travellers, I didn't hear one single person that was upset with what their choice was. For us, we chose a balcony suite, category P, and it was one of just a few that was left. More on our room choice in the upcoming videos. Okay, so you're ready now. You think you've chosen which room you want. Look at all the photos. I can tell you these photos are pretty true to what the rooms are. You don't gauge the size, but what's in them is what you're seeing. Now, once you've decided that, check out the deck plan. You can see what rooms are available and where. Again, I'll talk to you more about our room choice, which I was concerned about, in the upcoming videos. Looks like you're ready to press Traveller's Details. Now, I won't go through this with you. You can put your own details in there. But don't forget, before you do the final steps, if you need to talk to somebody and you don't want to call them on the phone, there's the button there on the far right-hand corner, or go back to the front page where it says Speak to an Expert. Now, I find APT's website really easy to use, so I never use a travel agent. And if I get stuck on anything, I just ring through and speak to one of their consultants who books it all for me. Now, that is fairly easy, but you might have heard me say, I quite often will book with the consultants. Now, what normally happens is I have some sort of special request that I need either on the cruise ship or on the flights or something along those lines. So I will phone that number at the top of the page and speak to somebody there. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you're going to phone through and speak to a consultant, make sure that you have gone through those steps I've just showed you so that you have all the information ready. Because if you're just ringing to ask a question or for them to give you some advice on something, there's a good chance they're going to say to you, we can book it for you right now. So if you've got all your information ready, you can just book it with them and let them do the work, and then they will send you through a confirmation of what you've discussed with them, and then you have to go through and check it. Let's check that out. Another thing that I love about APT is everything's really clear. Once we've booked, you'll receive an invoice that's very clear on what your next steps need to be. First thing is, check the information is correct. Now, it's important that you check everything because this is what your tickets will be booked off. So you check your name, passenger details, who's travelling with you, if you have a club member and what tier you are. This is also important. If it's not there, contact them to add it. Next is your tour booking details. Make sure you check the check-in time and the check-out time. The tour code number is important as well, as this determines which way you're travelling. And of course, all the details of your payments. Scroll down a bit to the next part and make sure everything is correct here. Everything that should be included is included. If you have a voucher, that's there to come off the price. Check your pricing's right. And finally, check that the total at the bottom is what you thought it would be. Check your flights. For us, we hadn't decided yet. On this next page, this will have information about the cruise portion. I know there's a lot of reading and checking, but it's really important that you get it right at this stage or it'll cost money to change it later. Then right at the bottom, check the booking number is correct and to the deposit that you've put down that's the correct amount. Final payment due date will be there as well. Make sure you note that in your calendar. Again, check all your figures. And this bit right at the very bottom will explain to you how you can make your next payment. And it will give you all the details of all the different options you have. Here it is again, more information to read. It's really important. This will give you important information, but also it'll give you the next steps of things that you have to do. I know that I'm all about travelling over 60, but this bit's really important. It doesn't matter what age you are. The APT company needs to know what your health, fitness and mobility situation is. Sometimes we think we handle our health situations on our own, that we don't need to tell them, but they do need to know. If something is to happen to you on tour, they need to know what the first steps are that they have to take. An example of this is a diabetic. If they don't know that you're a diabetic, they won't know to check your sugar levels if you collapse. They might check your blood pressure instead. And then right here at the bottom, for our convenience, they put a nice little link there for you so you can prepare for your tour. They give you a reminder to go across to your tour personalizer. Now for this, you just have to go across, put your name, your booking number in, log in, and then it's going to take you over to your personal details and your flight details. If there is anything that has to be booked prior to your trip, it also will be on this page. As you can see for us, we have everything that's already been put in, including passport numbers and emergency contact details. So, okay, that's how I book our trips. Now, I know there's some of you out there that go, that's way too hard. Even calling through and speaking to somebody, I want to speak to somebody face to face, and that's perfectly fine. You find your private travel agent, you go to them, you sit with them and discuss it, tell them you've seen an APT trip or whatever trip it is, and then they will do the work for you and let you know what you have to do from that point forward. So it's up to you what you prefer. I prefer to speak to the consultants at APT. These are also very, very helpful. And then it's all done for me and it's all in-house. Okay, it's all booked now. Now you need to start thinking about, go and do your research on all the different places where you're going to be. And then for me, I bought some new things. I bought a new suitcase. I bought some packing cells. I bought a gimbal for my camera. Look, I'll tell you at the end of this video what I think of all those things, but let's go and check out how I packed for this particular trip. Oh, and just before we go on, I want to mention, I'm sorry for the sound. My microphone didn't work properly on this particular day. And there's going to be some tricky bits in the videoing. I've hired a new video man. Well, it's hubby. So rather than have it just on a stand, I did have hubby so he could zoom in on certain things. Well, we worked out later on some of the videoing could use some work, but it does get better as the trip goes along. It's time to start packing. This is our old suitcase and we've bought some new luggage for this trip. Now this is the old luggage. I'll just show you. This is my one, it is blue. Yeah, as you can see, my label has seen better days. It's coming off, but I've made a new one for the next one. And we've had this suitcase since about 2004, and it's been a lot of places with us. So checking that out, now out with the old, and in comes the new. So this is our new suitcases. This is a Samsonite. Just taking a look at it there. It's still blue, a beautiful blue this time. New label, all ready to go. And let's take a look at some of its other features. Now, one of the first things is it's a little bit smaller than the one I had before. It's not much smaller. Like it's just, if you can see it that way, it's just a little bit smaller. So I hope I can fit everything in. Now let's take a look at some of the other stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at all the features on it now. So like I said, Samsonite, really good quality. When we bought this, we went into the shop and they showed us a little video clip and it was of a truck driving over this and it just popped back in. The lady in the shop went out the back and she went and got a sample one of these bags, brought it into the shop and jumped all over it. And then it just popped back into its shape. It didn't even look like she jumped on it. So that's what really convinced us, because we never know what these baggage handlers are doing with our bags. The other thing, it's so light. I can just pick it up, 2.1 kilos, so light, just like that. Let's take a look at the rest. Down here, you can see we have it's monogrammed. My initials there, and that came as part of the suitcase. Here, we've got the good sturdy locks that will go in and have a passcode. A handle on the side, turning it around. Did I mention the beautiful colour? Turning it around so you can see it there. It has this handle that comes up. It will click up one higher. Bit hard for me to show you while I'm sitting on the ground. I am over 60. And here, we're having a look here on this side. Good sturdy zip, but it doesn't expand. Now that's probably a good thing for me because I always buy way too much, but it will fit in my carry-on. So that's all of that. Now let's take a look at the wheels. I'm always very particular with wheels when I buy new luggage. 2 wheels. And then you might be able to see if I turn this one, you see here how thick this is here. Some of them just have one little prong. I always make sure that this part here is fairly thick. The wheels, they spin every which way. It'll be great getting it through the airport, and I will show you when we get to the airport. Okay, let's take a look inside. Now I've unzipped it, otherwise you would have had to wait. Let's have a look. It just looks like any other suitcase inside, but it is a little bit different. This side has a mesh pocket, as you can see there, and this side does not. And they're unzipped. This is the bit that's different. when I open these up, you can see there is no lining. No lining in here whatsoever. This isn't the hard plastic. This is like a fabric of some sort, but it's glued, completely glued onto the suitcase. You can't pull it up. There's nothing to pull up. And no pockets inside. That I'm not sure I'm going to like, but I'm going to try it and see. Now this side you can see has the clip. It just clips like this, but the other side did not have that to hold everything in place. Now I always use those, so I don't know if I'll like that either, but I will see. And again, you can see here, no lining. It's just that fabric that's glued down tight onto the suitcase. And no pocket. Now, one thing I do want to show you is here, you can see this. This, I did pull that out. This is in there like that. You can see this hole here. I can bring it up to a higher height. It goes in and twists. That's it, it's in. Won't pull out now. I'm not sure if that's going to make a difference. Maybe when I'm trying to squish in my souvenirs coming home, it might. I'll let you know when I test this bag out. Now I'm ready to pack everything into my cubes. Do you see all this behind me? This is all my packing waiting to go into its cubes, and then I'll come back and show you it packing into my suitcase. And before you know it, all of that is packed into these. Now, I want to show you how this works. I'm not sure I like them, but I'll show you anyway. This is one packed down, both zips done up, compressed. I'm going to put that there. This is the same size. That's it. You can see comparison if I lift this one up. Whoop. They're both the same. This one's compressed, this one's not. I'm going to show you how it works. I've done one zip up, and then you find the other zip, and you just go round and zip it up, and it will compress it down to a smaller size. So now they're both compressed. So let me show you the next size. That's one size. Now this is the next size down. This is it compressed. Zips done up. Let me now show you. This is one not compressed. I'll show you to compare. There they are. Find the zip, and you can see you just do up the other zip, and that's how you compress it. You don't need to have a vacuum pump or any of those ones that suck out. It's just compressed with two zips. Now, it makes a little bit of a difference. I'm not sure how much. And then you squish it in, and I'm not sure how they'll unpack. So there's another one compressed down. There they are. So that's the second size. And here is the third size that I bought. So there's that one compressed. Here's this one not compressed. Let's do this zip up. Push it in. You do have to sort of push and poke a bit. I also don't want to catch that zip on the material, or else it might put a tear in it or get stuck. So I do make sure that the material is pushed down, pushing around like that, and that's it compressed. Give it a bit of a even out. There we are. both compressed. Now let's talk about how I pack it all in the suitcase. So I bought some new little bags, they're clear, and I'm going to pack my medication. These ones are prescription medication. I'm putting them in my carry-on. This one is just over-the-counter medication, just like GastroStop and anything like that. Quills and I think I've got hay fever tablets, cough mixtures, all those sorts of things. They're just going in my carry-on as well. Now, back to here where my cells are. So with those packing cells, I put the big ones on the bottom, and it was a bit tricky shuffling around, but I think I've got it now. So the big ones are on the bottom, the medium size are in here. I've got the smaller ones here are on top of the big ones. I used some of my old packing cells and they have gone, this one has got swimmers in it, then I've got some with socks in it and some with pajamas in it. So I can roll them up quite tight and squeeze them around the edge here. First aid kit, toiletries, makeup, and then this is my hat there. My drink bottle is in the side, and I have packed in my new poncho that I have. Now at the end, once I get all that in, I pack my shoes in. So I put my shoes in individual bags. Now, have you ever gotten any shopping in these bags? Well, I keep them and then I just put my shoes in. You can wrap them up small like that and then they'll go in the side here. So here it is. I just place the shoe in. I zip it up. I won't waste your time. And then I pack it in around the edges like that. Another one in there. And they don't have to be together. I just fit them wherever they will fit. And then if you have any others, I just put them into my carry-on because there is going to be space in my carry-on. I have all my electronics in my carry-on. The carry-on actually has this pocket in the front where I'll put my passport that's in its own separate bag. So my passport will go in there, my folder, all my iPad and everything will go in there to put it through security. I'm trying not to have too many of those baskets when we go through security because that's where I start to get really flustered. So I will have my little bag over with my passport in it. We'll check in, do all of that. Then once I don't need my passport anymore, I'll show it to them just at the edge of security. And I then will put that in this front pocket, zip it up, and all I have to put through on those little trays will be this. And this is my personal bag, which just has in it my purse and my electronics. Some of my electronics is in there. And my iPad will fit in this bag as well. And my iPhone will fit in there. So between the two bags, I shuffle around. This one will go up in the cabin. I'm not sure what that's called, but up the top. And this one will stay by my legs. I think that's it. I'm nearly ready to seal up this bag and get on my way. Keep watching for the next bit. And of course we bought hers and his. You know how I love a good his and hers things. Now let me jump into the future. So we've been away, we've used the suitcase. I just want to give you some feedback on some of those things that I talked about. The first thing is, I wasn't sure if I was going to like that the suitcase is not got any sort of lining in it. It did feel unusual, but it didn't affect anything to do with the packing. The only thing is you can't put your air tag in underneath the lining. I did just have to hang the air tag in the suitcase and it worked fine. It wasn't a problem. As for the straps, now I was concerned that those straps were only on one side of the suitcase and not the other. Now, I didn't even notice, to tell you the truth. I do always do those straps up, But because you zip up, the clothes are all underneath that top lining. When you push over and zip up your suitcase, it didn't seem to worry me. Whereas in my old suitcase, one side had to definitely be clipped together and held down so that when you flipped them together and zipped it up, that everything didn't go everywhere. So it didn't really impact on this new suitcase because it's completely sealed in the two covers that come over the top. But one thing I didn't like, there is no little pockets inside the suitcase. Now, I always put in there a copy of my passport that I photocopied. I folded up a copy of all my medical, my tablets and anything that my doctor has written me. I print that out, I fold it up. Now, I do have copies of these in my folder that I always take, but I like to have that extra copy in my suitcase. I also put in my suitcase my name and address, or at least my email address. And that way, if by chance my suitcase is lost and they open it, they will see where it belongs. Well, because there was no pocket, I just had to place it on the bottom of my suitcase. It felt a bit messy to me. I feel like I have everything else and all in little compartments, and that was just thrown in on the bottom. Now, it's a first world problem. It's not something I need to worry about when I'm traveling overseas, but it did worry me just a little bit. Let's talk compression packing cubes. I wasn't sure if I thought they were going to work or not. Now, they did pack down quite neat and tight, and they did fit in my suitcase really well. The different sizes, packing them in and around. And when I compressed them down with the second zip, we traveled overseas. They were packed in that suitcase for quite a time. It's a long way from Australia to Europe. And then when I unpacked them, I was sure everything was going to be creased. Some things were, but not many. I just took them out of the packing cubes and I hung them up in the wardrobe, and they were perfectly fine. So I think I do like these compression packing cubes. Oh, and just a comment on packing cubes in general. So when we were on the river cruise, for those of you who have researched river cruising in any way, you know that sometimes you might have to have a ship swap or leave the ship and go on a coach due to water levels. Have no control over that. Well, the packing cubes were amazing because when I take them out of the suitcase, I just unzip them and I place that cube on the shelf, still with everything packed in it. I only hang up the things that need to be hung. Well, when it came to packing up and doing our ship swap, I just went in, did a zip up, packed it in my suitcase, packed the things in the wardrobe into their packing cubes and in the suitcase. 30 minutes later, I was completely packed up and the suitcases were out the front ready to go. So packing cubes really worked for me in that instance. The worst thing I say about packing cubes is you need to label them and know what's in each packing cube. One other thing was my gimbal that I bought. Now, I suppose you get what you pay for. I didn't spend a lot of money on it, but I felt like I needed a gimbal to stop that bounce as I'm walking and talking. But it had a mind of its own. Now, I probably should have practiced with it. I did a little bit of practice, but I probably should have practiced way more. I felt like as I was going along, it kept doing things I didn't want it to do. And boy, has it made it hard for me to edit some of these videos. In saying that, I did use it some of the time. It did draw attention to me. I don't like to do that. People kept asking about why I had it. So I packed it away and I didn't really use it too much in the middle part of the trip. So you might notice some of the videoing isn't really that good, but I'm working on what I might buy next. Maybe you'd like to comment down below and let me know what you think I should purchase to do this videoing. I do have one thing in mind, but let's see if anyone can suggest something else. Time for our countdown. Now finally, let's talk about what's coming up. The next video is going to be travel day and you don't want to miss it. It will be about our flights as well. And there's something special about our flights. So don't miss that. And how do you not miss it? Subscribe to my channel, ring that notification bell, and if you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Oh, great. If you're still here, that means you're new to my channel. Thank you so much for staying. Now, if you want to know how my videos work, take a listen to this. Hi, I'm Michelle from Travelling Over 60. A little bit about myself. My husband and I have recently turned 60. We've got a bit more cash in our pockets and we've decided to travel a little bit more. We have travelled, but I'm an anxious traveller. I get worried about the unknown. The airport's a scary place for me, and not knowing where the stairs are or how much activity is going to be done on where we're going is really frightening to me. I like to YouTube the different places we're going to, the airports, but I tend to find a lot of it is aimed at the younger generation and not so much us as we're creeping up in age. So I thought that I would like to make some videos for people that are over 60 that might be looking for the same sorts of things as me and that are feeling anxious about the travel as well. So subscribe to my channel, come along on our adventures, and hopefully I'll be able to help you in some way so you can travel too. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell.